The following presentation is rated WPC.
My name is William Patrick. Welcome to Filmbuff. Welcome to Filmbuff.
The following presentation is rated
Prison gates won't open up for me. On these hands and knees I'm crawling. I reach for you. Well, I'm terrified of these four walls. These iron bars can't hold my soul in. All I need is you. Come, please, I'm calling. And all I scream for you. Hurry, I'm falling. I'm falling. Show me what it's like. Tell me the last one standing. And teach me wrong from right. And I'll show you what I can be. And say it for me, say it to me. And I'll leave this life behind me. Say it if it's worth saving me. Heaven's gates won't open up for me. With these broken wings I'm falling. All I see is you. These city walls ain't got no love for me. I'm on the ledge of the 18th story. All I scream for you. Come, please, I'm calling. And all I need from you. Hurry, I'm falling. I'm falling. Show me what it's like. Tell me the last one standing. And teach me wrong from right. And I'll show you what I can be. And say it for me, say it to me. And I'll leave this life behind me. Say it if it's worth saving me. Hurry, I'm falling. And all I need is you. Come, please, I'm calling. And all I scream for you. Hurry, I'm falling. I'm falling. I'm falling. Show me what it's like. Tell me the last one standing. Teach me wrong from right. And I'll show you what I can be. And say it for me, say it to me. And I'll leave this life behind me. Say it if it's worth saving me. Hurry, I'm falling. Say it for me, say it to me. And I'll leave this life behind me. Say it if it's worth saving me.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Filmbuff University here on Filmbuff. I am your host, William Patrick Coleman, and I've noticed a certain trend within the last few topics I've had on the show since we've started. I've been glowing reviews, or somewhat positive. It makes me look like I'm Kevin Smith, who just fucking loves everything that exists in the world, and that's not true. I firmly believe in not criticizing artists, for it is hard to get paid to do that, and I show respect where it's due. If I had to pick a movie that's earned its fair weight in being picked apart and dissected, well, it would be Zack Snyder's 2016 catastrophe tale, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. I love Batman, I love Superman, I can't stand Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, alright? Now, I want to start off by saying that I absolutely love Zack Snyder. In fact, I don't necessarily know that there's a director who has single-handedly captured and transferred the panels within his favorite comic book so successfully as he has with both 300
threaten my people with slavery and death.
This is madness!
Madness. This is Sparta!
And the very criminally underrated Watchmen.
The world will look up and shout, "Save us." And I'll whisper, "No."
Both movies, specifically 300, are almost shot for shot and loyal and beautiful in its execution. I even like Sucker Punch, which is a unpopular decision. If I was drunk and I wanted to convince myself that I was watching a young David Lynch trying to direct and imitate feature-length music videos blocked by Michael Bay. But Man of Steel is very lukewarm, and although there's plenty of performances and beautiful scenery to hold on to, in the long run, the movie is much like its color tone, very bleak. The fact of the matter that nobody wants to discuss is Zack Snyder clearly wants to do a Batman movie, just like almost every Hollywood director wants to do. The material in Batman is rich and full of wonderful, exciting characters, and it shows clearly when these two characters face off, even in their side stories. See, Ben Affleck is a fantastic Bruce Wayne, a man who is conflicted from previous battles, which, although he may have won regardless, have cost the lives of people he loved. This is clearly a different, more angrier Batman. And it feels like he had to go through Superman to get there. Even Jeremy Irons constructs a very believable and sturdy Alfred Pennyworth. And there might have been a wonderful time that he could have shined more than within the shadow of Michael Caine so recently.
Never.
If there was a more polished script to showcase how wonderful these actors are in these more iconic roles, but the script is one of many of the problems that this movie has, and in order to effectively explain it better, I will separate my issues with the movie in 5 installments, detailing the issues between Batman vs. Superman, preventing it from being a remotely watchable film. 5. The casting. You've heard me. Give credit where credit is due with the casting of Batman's iconic characters. Both Affleck and Jeremy Irons perfectly encompass what we've come to remember about Bruce Wayne and Alfred. With the absolute impressive cast of names such as Kevin Costner, Lawrence Fishburne, Diane Lane, Scoot McNairy, of all wonderful character actors with not enough character on the page to portray them properly. I cannot stress enough for the accountability someone should take from casting Amy Adams as Lois Lane, and more importantly, Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. Ooh. Okay, listen. Again, I like both of these actors just fine, and I have since cleaned my conscience of Amy Adams' portrayal as the hungry news reporter / love interest of Superman. In all fairness, it's incredibly hard and impossible to live up to the likes of being both irritating and completely enchanting by Margot Kidder. Even Kate Bosworth missed the mark completely on that. But Lex Luthor has got to be one of my favorite villains not attached to Batman without any superpowers whatsoever. Initially, I'd heard that the script called for a more middle-aged Lex Luthor, like almost every interpretation, and a heavy interest in Bryan Cranston playing him. Despite the similarities of a shaved head between him and Heisenberg from Breaking Bad, Cranston would have been a dream choice and the closest to maniacal charm as Gene Hackman as you can get. You would feel a threat almost immediately equivalent to Superman. Instead, they chose Eisenberg, clearly due to his Oscar nod in The Social Network at the time, and it changed the original corporate mogul's bratty, entitled, and intrusive son. The shop and the party where they're at the two heroes at the party for the first time, and their alter egos with Lex creeping up the middle as sort of a balance between the two. These actors don't seem to match very well in the threat each other portray in their worlds without too much motivation or reasoning for his antics. Eisenberg simply looks like a tennis player trying to fit in with the football team. I love Lex Luthor, and his background as a villain and the announcement of Jesse Eisenberg's casting was a huge red flag right off the bat. But then we'll go straight to number 4. Denying any implications that it's a sequel to Man of Steel. The mere existence of General Zod and the memory of their final battle in Man of Steel make this a direct sequel to it, whether you're playing Batman as a side character or not. When Gareth Edwards made Star Wars Rogue One, he stated that they weren't trying to go for the usual opening crawl for the first time in Star Wars history, separating it from the Skywalker installments. However, making cute nods to C-3PO and R2-D2 have nothing to do with the Rogue One storyline. That simply makes it a Skywalker installment. You can't make Joker and say it's not a comic book movie, yet include the Waynes as well as even depict the murder of Martha and Thomas Wayne. The murder that we see all the time, when that could have been avoided within. The story try by balancing two main characters just by showing us an interpretation of a familiar flashback with Bruce Wayne. All you want, but the whole center of Bruce's view on Superman and Luthor's plot revolves around the corpse of General Zod and the destruction these two left behind from the previous installment. Number 3, it's too suffocating. I mean, you can't breathe. The notion of Batman vs. Superman, as intriguing as it is simply a heavy concept, especially when we're familiar with Henry Cavill's Clark Kent, but not Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne. That several of the new characters, specifically from the Justice League follow-up, tend to feel only unnecessary as even a nod, but others such as Doomsday and Wonder Woman receive an unaffected introduction to the series as a whole. Now, keep in mind, when Gal Gadot finally got her leading vehicle in Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman, it received rave reviews. But listen, it's partly due to the breathing room her character was provided with, and even Bruce Wayne, the cameo he has is so small, it's only in the opening and the ending. It has nothing to do with the overall plot. Aquaman, and here's hoping Flash, although one could argue that any relatable connection to Cyborg is a clear result of this concept. Even at 3 hours long, the movie's 3 fucking hours long. You don't have many pair-up movies like this, and thanks to this, we now know why we don't. Number 2, the Marvel connection. Yep, I hate to say it, and it's almost not fair, but it's absolutely true when you stop and think about the difference between the two movie companies and their approach to their catalog and film format. I could go on and on and on about what Marvel did right and what DC did, but let's take a look at one example. Captain America Civil War, which was released a mere matter of months after Dawn of Justice, with just one scene between our two heroes at the height of their rivalry, it hurts the viewer who love these two characters wholeheartedly to see them at war with each other. And even when Steve Rogers looks at Tony Stark and says, "I could do this all day," he has earned that pain from us. It took them several movies for us to be affected by this. I mean, this isn't rocket science. The DCU was in such a hurry to tell the more exciting moments of their storylines that we are being presented with these classic moments and comics like a lost storyline, being told way out of order and expecting the next director to connect the dots. It's irresponsible. By the time the Martha moment comes...
Why did you say that name?
Find him! Save Martha!
Which, to be fair, despite its consistent backlash, was an interesting approach as a metaphor. We've certainly not followed both Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent long enough to be affected by their turmoil and their eventual unity. This is where I get the idea that Snyder was in a rush to tell a Batman story, and Warner Brothers obliged as long as he could get Superman started. It's really not fair to these characters, in fact, to add such emotional weight that they haven't earned. The creators of these stories almost seem arrogant in assuming that we were going to like Ben Affleck's portrayal of Bruce Wayne, for example, by introducing him this way and having him go face-to-face with Henry Cavill's Superman for only one movie. Second time even. Don't get me started on Suicide Squad.
I can't wait to show you my toys.
Mamma mia, mamma mia, mamma mia, let me go.
Let's do something fun.
which works the opposite and fails completely for trying to make us sympathize or empathize for these villains in this world for our first time meeting them. Had the stories been told in order and with equal love and respect and care, I guarantee you it would have been a tour de force for Marvel to compete with. Both Marvel and DC Comics are forces to be reckoned with in the comic book industry, but they have been consistently linked as rivals for years and years. Unlike the clear rivalry between The Dark Knight and the Man of Steel, the outcome between the two comic empires will always remain, up in the air and debatable and unproven. What is certain is the value of a rare collector's item such as a comic book is, before I wrap up, why Batman vs. Superman is not a coherent film or capable of rewatch value. Now, I can't think of anybody better to break that down for us than our own co-host, Ryan Miller, for another exciting In the Field segment with Ryan Miller. Ryan?
Hey, Will, I'm out here in the field, and I thought today, since you're reviewing Batman vs. Superman, I would take a look at some of my Batman and Superman memorabilia. So first things first, let's start with comic book classic, The Dark Knight Returns. A great Batman comic. Secondly, here we've got a classic Superman comic, Kingdom Come. There you see Superman. He's the best. We've also got a little Superman action figure here. Very cool. Cool power pose. Real cool. And of course, the Batmobile, which I haven't tried this in a while, but you can wind it up. You see here. It's pretty cool. These may not look like much, but these things are very, very valuable, especially these comics. So I thought it would be fun today is to take a look online and see what kind of money we could get for these items. So let's take a look. Log onto the internet here. Let's see, Dark Knight Rises comic. Now let's just see what that thing's selling for, huh? Dark Knight Returns. The movie is Dark Knight Rises. The comic, Dark Knight Returns. Let's see what we can get for that online. Right now, this comic is selling for $18. Okay? $18. So that, but let's take a look at this one. First print, $800. That's big bucks. All right, let's take a look at what Kingdom Come would pitch us. See, we've got some breaking news. From the news, February monthly, all water on Earth disappears. All the water on Earth has disappeared for reasons unknown. Some are blaming climate change. Others are blaming Antifa. A few experts believe it is the result of an alien race invading Earth and sneaking away with our water supply to replenish their own planet's water supply. Whatever the cause, experts say that an Earth without water is not a good Earth. That can't be true. I've got water here. I've got water in my house. I keep a water jug full in my fridge all the time. It's always full. See? It's always full. It feels full. It's full. There's water in here. It's salt. Just salt. There's no water. There's no water left on Earth. Back to you, Will.
Fucking A, Ryan. Fucking A. Well, there you have it, folks. As promised, my number one reason why Batman vs. Superman resulted in a catastrophic miss and fail upon a rival opportunity. My number one reason why I can't strongly recommend Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice in the least. May seem like a small complaint. It may feel like a picky issue. It may seem like I'm personally upset at something. So minute by comparison to everything else that I've stated, but in this one small example is the best basis for the whole giant problem in general. 2 words. Jimmy Olsen. That's right. Jimmy fucking Olsen. Who's that, you ask? Well, in the Christopher Reeves adaptation, he's played by Mark McClure, and he's almost the third wheel to the whole Clark and Lois combo.
How you doing? Jimmy Olsen, photographer.
Oh, hi. Clark Kent. Nice to meet you.
As he is a nosy and intrusive camera guy who is Lois Lane's sidekick reporter. I believe in the comics he holds a torch for her, but like her can't see past Clark Kent. He was innocent, and his presence has always alluded to that. Yet Man of Steel, we were denied his introduction. No biggie. After all, if you look at the credits, actress is cast
So you play Jenny Olsen? Yeah.
is Jenny Olsen.
So what do you think about the cross-gendering from Jenny Olsen rather than Jimmy Olsen? Do you feel that that's like really good for, I mean, like a different take on the Man of Steel?
I don't know. I don't know if it's meant to be that necessarily. It's kind of like a nod to it, you know? So I don't think I'm taking anything away or anything like that. I think it's like a wink, a nudge, a nod to that.
Within the first 10 minutes of Dawn of Justice, Lois Lane and her cameraman are pulled under a production mission for the government to interview a leader of a third world country.
Miss Lane. Jimmy Olsen, photographer. Obviously.
Things go horribly bad when, upon frisking the silent cameraman, they discover the wiretap located inside his camera, revealing Jimmy Olsen as the name. It's said only twice to be a
CIA.
For some weird fucking reason, where they react by placing a bullet in his temple in front of a shocked Lois Lane. Why in God's green earth would Jimmy Olsen, a character who has been consistently associated as the nerdy younger Daily Planet photographer for fucking about 50 years or so plus, have any business whatsoever being introduced as a CIA operative? And why the fuck would you just kill him senselessly like that? I mean, we're not talking his death served a bigger purpose that played a factor into the story later. We're talking more like we're going to utilize this important character to enhance the severity of the situation between such evil characters that aren't even important to the movie. I mean, what the fuck? I'm not even mad at the bad guys. I'm mad at Zach Penn for writing the fucking thing. He's who killed him in the end. Perhaps they feel that they can excuse themselves to take such creative liberties because they had previously introduced Jenny Olsen. Oh no. But wait. Because blink and you'll miss her, as the next time you see her, she's not even close to mourning the loss of such an important family member. So this is my point. Clearly Zack Snyder wanted to make a Batman movie, one of the rare superhero platforms that allows the storyteller to get as grim-themed and as dark as he possibly can, and it still served the story, because it doesn't serve the story applying that to Superman. The difference is painfully clear in the visual tone of what we've come to know about Superman compared to Henry Cavill's. Notice the bright poppy colors that resemble a more confident and optimistic, like the ones of the American flag, compared to even Henry Cavill's sulking throughout the entire 3-hour extent of this movie. What the absolute fuck could you be so fucking miserable about, huh? You're a goddamn god compared to these mere mortals, and you walk around the entirety of the film not screwing Lois Lane and looking like someone raped your fucking cat. That character could have been any old photographer revealed to be a CIA operative, but they chose the beloved fan favorite Jimmy Olsen the very second he's introduced. Why? It's almost as though there was some kind of mean-spirited ill intent behind it. So while Jimmy Olsen may not be one of the biggest characters within the Superman installments, he is an important character. And their treatment of how expendable and disposable his character is a sign of my theory that they don't care about these characters to begin with. Creative liberty is one thing, but hiding a statement through art is another. To show you such a clear difference in how incredibly important an established fan base to the lore is, when Star Wars Episode 7 The Force Awakens was released, director J.J. Abrams received an earful from discerning fans who were concerned over a small detail the director had missed when Chewbacca returns with the Millennium Falcon and Rey and Finn in tow, as he completely passes General Organa and Joy, who is mourning over the death of Han Solo at the hands of her own son. If only to establish the long amount of years that they've known each other, he would have stopped. But when it was pointed out that Chewbacca walked past straight by the general, he replied very apologetically, taking complete accountability for his poor lack of decision.
The truth is that there are always going to be things that you will, as well intended as one might be, will miss or not quite see. And, I find in most cases the fans are right.
He made a mistake, the fans called him on it, and he owned up to it. But in the interviews with the producers and Zack Snyder over the endless list of complaints the fans had provided their opinion about this movie, they were quickly dismissed by the two participants, claiming they just don't understand the original story. They don't understand. It's not us, it's them. If they read the comic book, they would understand that this was a key figure in the storytelling of things. So let's reflect here. Fans complained to Star Wars. The director took responsibility for it. Fans complain to DCU. They get insulted by corporate participants who basically say somehow the fans in which the storyline earned its popularity from originally are too ignorant to understand the ideas behind this movie, and that they're wrong for being too stupid to understand. You can't paint a picture brighter than that. Guys, we're going to go ahead and give Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice an F+. The final grade here, Fillmore University, F+ for what the fuck? I feel that this movie should be taught in college courses on how not to adapt a movie to screen. I breathed awareness into the subject enough by now. I should simply leave with this. I'm William Patrick Coleman. This is Filmbuff University on Filmbuff.
Tell me, do you bleed? Before you answer, just know that I don't give a f***. JK, I give so many f***s. Inside that bag are all the f***s I give.
It's empty.
Darn it, I'll just run over to the store. It's open till 9. Oh no, it's 9:02.
Enough with this silliness. Your fight is not with me. There is a greater threat.
Oh look, a vending machine. And there's one left.
All right, you're gonna check your pockets and say something like, "Oh man, I don't have $1. Looks like I can't give a f." So don't waste your time.
But I have $1. Oh no! The f got stuck.
I cannot believe you went to all that effort just for this bit. I'm out of here.
Got your head, fresh on 2 for $1.
No, he left, bro. He's already gone.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, go. Let's go, let's go, let's go, go. Let's go, let's go, let's go, go. Let's go, let's go, let's go.